The street looked quiet, but something had shifted. I swear people like her test your last nerve. Logan Pierce didn't flinch, didn't yell, didn't argue. He just leaned against the fresh concrete, hands in his pockets, eyes off her. She was screaming. He wasn't even listening. Across the street, 3 neighbors, silent, one filming, one smirking. Spray painted near his shoulder, just visible. Approved, HOA 7.3. She hadn't seen it yet, but everyone else had. Not a reaction, a calculation. This wasn't rage, it was rhythm. He didn't keep the house for resale, didn't move in for curb appeal. Logan Pierce bought that corner lot because it carried weight, legacy, blood. The kind of story that never fits inside a binder. In places like this, rules speak loud, but history screams. And Logan? He knew how to listen. For 6 months, he colored inside every line. Trash bins vanished before the 12-hour mark. Mailbox matched code B41. Matte black, no gloss. Even the front door, sandstone whisper per guideline. Karen noticed, but she mistook it for obedience. She thought he was just another mild-mannered homeowner, a man scared of fines. She didn't know he used to run $10 million housing projects, where one misfiled permit meant a 6-figure delay, where city inspectors respected him, or got embarrassed. Logan had watched his parents lose a home once, a technicality, buried on page 38 of a handbook no one read. He was 19 and helpless. Now he was 42 and surgical. So when she cut down the hedges without notice and billed him like she was doing him a favor, Logan didn't raise his voice. He read the clause, flagged the line, opened the folder with her signature on it. The bylaws she sharpened, he just flipped them around. Logan waited until 7:58 a.m. HOA office opened at 8. He was outside before the blinds flipped, folder in hand, quiet shoes, no smile. Inside, the clerk offered coffee. He declined. He slid the application across the desk. A 6-foot cinder block wall, neutral tone, full compliance, architectural renderings, material specs, certified mail receipt, addressed directly to the HOA Architectural Committee. The girl behind the counter blinked. "This is very complete." Logan nodded once. "That's the point." According to bylaw 7.3, the committee had 14 days. Approve or reject. Silence meant approval. Karen was head of the committee. She never circulated the form. Day 15 came. Logan rented the excavator. The trench was clean, survey lines exact. By noon, neighbors were peeking over fences. At 2:17 p.m., her SUV screeched to a halt. Heels stabbed grass, lipsticked, unprepared. "You cannot build that here. Stop immediately or I will call law enforcement." Logan turned off the engine, climbed down, clipboard in hand. He didn't look angry, he looked ready. This application was submitted on the 3rd. That makes today the 15th. According to your handbook, page 46, subsection D, I'm approved. She opened her mouth. He handed her the stamped receipt. "This is fraudulent," she snapped. Logan pointed to the signature. Heron signed in blue ink. He didn't raise his voice, didn't flinch, just turned and walked back to the machine. As the engine roared, Karen stood frozen, jaw locked, eyes scanning the paperwork she once weaponized. The neighbors had gathered now, some with coffee, one filming. No one said a word. But the silence, it wasn't neutral anymore. This wasn't construction, it was preparation. And Logan was just getting started. He didn't raise his voice, he raised the standard. If you've ever dealt with power used the wrong way, drop OE in the comments. We're building a quiet army here. And if you believe silence can be sharper than shouting, subscribe. The next move's already in motion. 2 days later, Logan received a notice, hand-delivered, folded 3 times, signed by Karen. Unauthorized construction. Cease immediately or face legal action. He read it, folded it, put it in the file labeled Expected Moves. Then he made his own. At 11:04 a.m., Logan emailed the HOA secretary. Subject: Clarification request. Bylaw 7.3 enforcement history. He CC'd 3 former board members, attached a scan of Karen's signature from another case. 6 months prior, same delay, same silence. but that homeowner was fined $800. Logan didn't accuse, he just asked, "Does precedent apply both ways?" The email was polite, time-stamped, archived, laced with a quiet blade. By 4:30 p.m., one board member replied, "Looking into this." At 5:02, "Do you have the original form?" At 5:17, "Please don't take any further steps until we clarify." Too late. The wall was halfway up. The neighbors loved it. On day 4, Karen arrived with a clipboard and a measuring tape, pretending it was a routine inspection, pretending her hands weren't shaking. Logan didn't come out. He didn't need to. He'd already uploaded his permits to the shared HOA drive, folder name, for transparency, in accordance with section 5.2.7. Every neighbor on the street had access, every board member, so did the HOA attorney. Trap 1 wasn't the wall, it was the paperwork trail. She'd ignored the clock. Now the timestamps were doing the talking. And from the kitchen window, Logan just watched, coffee in hand, phone on silent. She measured, she frowned, she left. And in her rearview mirror, she probably didn't notice. The neighbor across the street had just printed that email thread, stapled it, walked next door. On Monday morning, a new email hit the HOA board inbox. Subject: petition for special review, enforcement discrepancy. Attached were 2 scanned violation letters, 2 homeowner names, 2 signatures, all Karens, all different rulings. One homeowner fined, the other, Logan. No fine, just silence. Then outrage. The email wasn't sent by Logan. It came from Darlene Whitmore, a former board member. She lived 2 streets over, didn't even like Logan much, but she loved bylaws. "This isn't about the wall," she wrote. "It's about whether Karen applies rules to punish or to protect herself." The email spread fast. By 2 p.m., it reached the HOA lawyer. By 3:10, the Facebook group. By 3:15, the group chat. By 3:17, Karen left both. That evening, Logan took a walk. Same route, same sweatshirt. But something had shifted. Neighbors nodded. One couple offered banana bread. A man from down the block said, "Smart move on the permits, by the way. My wife works in zoning. She said it's airtight." Logan smiled, not wide, just enough. At 7:42 p.m., he received a text from an unknown number. "She's calling an emergency board meeting, tomorrow night, closed door." He didn't reply, just opened a new folder, labeled it Meeting Prepped. Inside, email chain, permit packet, screenshot of the HOA drive showing last opened by Karen, April 3rd. Printout of her own signature from the prior case. By the time the meeting started, Karen was sweating. She walked in with a speech. She walked out with a warning. Board consensus, no further action on the wall, and an open review of her enforcement record. Logan never spoke in that meeting. He didn't have to. Her voice cracked. His folder stayed closed. The neighbors had seen enough. The law had caught up. And the woman who thought silence was weakness had just learned what silence really sounds like when it's loaded. Karen thought it was over. Wall built, meeting done, damage controlled. She underestimated silence. Again. 3 days later, a brown envelope arrived at every doorstep on the block. Inside, a copy of HOA bylaw 7.3, the permit Logan submitted. A highlighted timestamp. Received, April 3rd, 8:01 a.m. A screenshot of the HOA drive log. Opened by Karen M. April 3rd, 8:44 a.m. The envelope had no return address, just a line on the back, for those who care about fair play. By noon, the sidewalk group chat exploded. A neighbor posted, "Wait, didn't she fine Emily last year for the same delay she used here?" Then came the photos. Karen, laughing with a contractor, standing next to a fence she approved without vote, for a friend. Trap number 4 wasn't new. It was recycled injustice, refiled as evidence. At 6 p.m., the HOA Facebook page posted the agenda for the next community meeting. Item 3. Review of board conduct, Chairperson M. That night, Logan stayed inside, lights off, stove on, quiet dinner. From his window he saw it, Karen pacing on her porch, phone in hand, talking fast. No one picking up. Trap number 5 came from her own mouth. A neighbor had recorded her weeks ago, bragging at a garden party. Most of these rules are tools, depends who's holding the wrench. It resurfaced. 30 seconds, 1,400 views overnight. By morning, the comments rolled in. Tool or weapon. She just admitted to selective enforcement. You don't scare people with bylaws, you serve them. Karen stepped down that Friday. No announcement, no apology, just gone. Her final act? A blurry photo taken through a windshield of her watching the wall, still standing, still clean, still legal. And Logan? He was in the backyard, pressure washing the driveway, didn't even look up. But the hose paused, half a second, just long enough to know he heard. Sunday morning, no noise, no leaf blowers, no clipped tones from across the fence. Logan stepped out with his coffee. Steam. Silence. Concrete underfoot. The wall stood still, sunlit, steady, unbothered. A single sparrow perched on top. Even that didn't move when Karen's car passed slow, windows up. She didn't look his way, didn't need to. A new sign now sat in the yard. Small, brass, clean serif font, approved as submitted, section. 7.3 inches. He didn't wave, didn't nod, just sipped. Then bent down and scraped off a patch of dirt from the curb, revealing a number carved in the cement. 1951. The year his grandfather first registered the deed. The first time someone in his family had to fight for land with paperwork. He stood, stretched his back once, walked in, left the door open just long enough for the breeze to carry the smell of fresh-cut grass. Karen wouldn't lose her house, wouldn't go to jail, wouldn't even be named in a public hearing. But she'd live here, and every time she walked past that wall, she'd see her own handwriting, cast in shade, legal, permanent, inevitable. Not everyone fights to win. Some just make sure no one forgets who really owns the ground they're standing on. At the end of the street, the wall still stands. Not taller than anyone, just not moved. Each morning, sunlight hits a quiet line of text. Approved section. 7.3 inches. Not to brag, just to exist. People pause now. Walking dogs, slowing steps. A kid once pointed and asked his father, "Who wrote that?" The man smiled. "Someone who knows the rules." Behind the house, there's an old wooden chair. One leg's a little loose, but it doesn't wobble. Whoever fixed it didn't use nails, just sanded the joint, waited for the wood to hold again. Logan still waters the grass at the same time. Not early, not late. His lawn isn't greener, but it doesn't burn from rushing. Justice sometimes doesn't shout, doesn't warn, just waits to be witnessed. While others chase noise and credit, someone's been laying bricks, quietly, exactly where they need to go. Some things aren't won by force, only by holding your ground and your calm.